my name is Lucy and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I don't know how you found me, but please do consider hitting that subscribe button because honestly it helps me out so much and it makes my heart so happy. And if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please do smash it a big thumbs up to let me know. For today's video, I am going to be discussing the topic of finding a student flat in London. Now trust me, this is possibly the most stressful experience that I've ever gone through. But I'm here today to give you all of my tips and tricks and things that I learned along the way to hopefully make it a less stressful and more enjoyable experience for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Quickly, I thought I'd just discuss what my situation was moving to London. So I was actually moving from foundation at Guildford School of Acting in Guildford to London to Angel to start my degree at Erskine. Now finding a flat for us was made even more stressful by the fact that I was on crutches, so getting on and off the tube was an absolute riot, getting on and off the bus, walking around London, climbing stairs, and it was also about 9 million degrees the weekend that we were looking for flats. So I think that's what made the situation more stressful. But navigating the London student rental market and just house rental market in general is an absolute minefield. Firstly, I'm just going to start off with how to start looking. We did all of our research online at first and just set a couple of days that we were going to go up to London and view like 6 properties in a day. So basically we looked predominantly on Rightmove and Zoopla. For us, we actually found our flat on Rightmove in the end, but Zoopla had loads of great properties as well. All we did is we set a day. Okay, so on the Tuesday we were going to go to London, so maybe the Friday before we would call all the agents, email all the agents to book in a schedule of how we were going to view all the properties. Also remember to factor in traveling between the different properties because sometimes it may look close but you have to get the tube or you have to walk or you have someone like me on crutches. So make sure to factor in traveling between the properties between viewings because you don't want to keep agents waiting because they're super busy and you don't want to annoy them basically. Some people do say do it through an estate agent, tell them what you want and let them look for you, but then I do feel that limits you to what they have on their books. If you do it all yourself on Rightmove and Zoopla, you can go with loads of different agents rather than being restricted to what one estate agent has. You will also start to realize that within the area you're looking, there is a few estate agents that have a lot of properties. So you'll maybe tell them if you have anything else in the area, let us know, and they'll maybe come back to you with a suggestion. So you also have to decide when you're going to start looking. Now, this is something that was a bit of a tricky situation for us. Long story short, this was obviously a very personal situation to us, but I was coming to Dubai for the summer and didn't have anywhere to put my stuff, and Isabella was going to Malaysia for the summer and didn't have anywhere to put her stuff. So we basically needed to find somewhere quickly that was out of Guildford in London, so we were moved in and ready for September. Obviously, not everyone has this situation that they live abroad, so they could look throughout the summer holidays, but for us, we really needed to do it early. On this note, I would say don't start looking until 2 or 3 maximum weeks before you are willing to start paying the rent, because basically in London properties do not stay around for long, especially with areas that are popular with students. For example, in Angel there are students from literally so many unis fighting for flats and houses in that area. So if you say to the estate agent, oh I want this house but can we just take it in a month's time, 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to say no. So for example, for us, we were paying for our flat for 2 months when we weren't living in it, but for us it was worth it to secure the flat for September, because also if you hang around till 2 weeks before term starts, the best flats are gonna have gone. So it's getting that happy balance between not looking too early that you're paying months and months of rent when you're not living there, but not leaving it till too late that everything that's good and worth having has gone. Also, another thing that you need to consider is council tax. Now, this was a big unknown. I didn't really know what we were getting ourselves in for. So as a full-time student, you're actually exempt from council tax, which is ideal. You just have to get a letter from your university to send to the council and you don't have to pay council tax. However, we kind of got burnt by this because we started paying our rent in July. So we were paying rent July and August in our flat. So we assumed because we were starting our course in September that our council tax would just start being exempt from when we got the flat. But actually, because that summer we technically weren't full-time students because we finished our course in Guildford in June and didn't start in Erskine in September. For those 4 months, we technically weren't students. So we did end up having to pay council tax for those 2 months. So that is something to consider. In the summers between first and second year and second and third year, that's not been a problem because we're still within the course. However, do bear that that in mind. If you're moving course, you may have to pay council tax. Now onto budget. Obviously, this is a big one, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you numbers because everyone's financial situation is different. Obviously, it's good if you can be living with people who have a similar budget to you, or maybe you want to have the situation that we had, that some people pay slightly more for a bigger room and people pay slightly less for a smaller room. Obviously, that's between you and your future flatmates to work out, but I would advise having 2 different budgets. Now, I know this might seem a bit bizarre. So essentially what we did was we had a budget for if we were going to be in walking distance from college, and a budget for if we were going to have to get the tube or the bus to college. Getting the tube and the bus to college every day, it might not sound like a lot, but honestly it really adds up. So what we did is we calculated for a month, if we were to travel to and from college every single day, how much would that cost us if we were taking the tube or the bus, and we took that away from our budget if we were going to be looking in a further away area. Yes, I'm busy. I've now completely lost my train of thought because my dad came to talk to me, but I think I was talking about budgets. So yes, essentially we had a higher budget for if we were going to be in walking distance to college, and a slightly lower budget because we had taken out the money for transport for if we were going to be living further away from college. Next up is deciding what is important to you and your flatmates. For myself and my flatmates, we always knew that we would rather be in walking distance to college, and Erdang is super central. It is in zone 1, and obviously living in zone 1 is very expensive. But personally for us, we just decided that we would rather sacrifice having a big flat with maybe a living room and a garden or a balcony for a smaller flat that is more central. For us, we just wanted to be walking distance from college. We are so close to being able to go into the West End. It's literally 15 minutes on the bus, and we are 1 stop from King's Cross, 2 stops from Euston. So for us, it was worth the sacrifice that our flat is a little bit smaller. Obviously, that is just totally a preference for us. Some of our friends prefer to live further out because it means that they can have a big kitchen diner and maybe a big balcony, and they have to get the tube to college. So it's just totally personal preference. Another thing that's really important to think about is the number of people you're going to live with. So realistically, if you are looking in zone 1, zone 2 area, it's very difficult to find anything bigger than a 4-bed flat. We were very lucky that we found a good 4-bed flat. However, the majority of my friends actually live in 2 or 3 beds, but definitely anything bigger than a 4-bed, you're really gonna struggle. I don't think we found anything that was above a 4-bed. And finally, I'm just gonna chat about a couple of things that you should be aware of when you're looking for a flat. The first thing is one of the most important things in London, and that is transport links. So that is, where is the nearest tube station and where is the nearest bus stop? Now, it's all fine and well to say, oh, the nearest tube station is 2 minutes down the road, but if you have to change 3 times to get to where you need to go every morning, that is going to be an absolute pain in rush hour. So be really aware of what line you're on and what your travel would be to college or university or work or wherever you're going. Same goes with buses. Be aware of traffic. You might say, oh, that's great, there's a bus stop right next to my house, it goes straight to college, but in rush hour, if that's when you're going to be traveling, traffic is so bad, so it could take a very long time to get where you're going. The next thing is the proximity of supermarkets. This was super important to us because we did not want to be having to hump our shopping on the tube or on the bus, because that is just not an enjoyable experience. So make sure that you know that there is a reasonable sized supermarket near you, and that is one that's not too expensive. Across London, there are so many little Waitrose, Tesco Express, M&S, but obviously the stuff in those shops is so much more expensive than the bigger stores. So yes, it's good to have a small shop near you, but you really do need a big shop in enough walking distance that you can go if you don't want to spend as much money. Another thing is beware of your surroundings. So if you guys are the sort of people that are going to be wanting to have house parties, flat parties, having people over all the time, if you maybe go out late and you're going to be coming home in the early hours of the morning, if your flat that you're looking at is in a very family friendly area, it's probably not going to be the right flat for you, because most probably you're going to get noise complaints and you're going to annoy your neighbors, and obviously you really don't want to be doing that. So maybe just try and check out and maybe ask the agent what kind of people live around this area. If there's people above or below you, find out who they are, what's their sort of situation, because you want to be a nice tenant and you want to get on with the people around you. So yeah, just make sure that that's something you're aware of. And the last thing to be aware of is bills. Now, I know in some student houses in other cities or other unis, they will have bills included, but a lot of the time in central London especially, bills will not be included in your rent. So that's another thing to factor into your budget when you're deciding how much you want to spend. So I really hope that this video has helped you guys out. If you have any questions, questions or you guys have any other tips that I've missed out, then pop them down below in the comments and we can all help each other out. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a big thumbs up to let me know. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, please do subscribe to my channel. It honestly would mean the world to me and help me out so much. And I will hopefully see you guys again very soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.